Hello everyone. Itai here, and today is a special stream. There's a brand new X-Craft Embraer E175. Well, the entire family really, but well, by day I'm an airline pilot and I fly the Embraer E175 for a U.S. carrier as a captain. By another day, so that's by day. By another day. I also fly the simulators, and I'm a simmer just like a lot of you guys I'm sure are who are watching this stream. And I thought I started my flight training long before I actually started my official flight training. I started being a flight simmer first, and I learned a lot from add-ons, from YouTube basically, but also from applying what I saw on PMDG, on flight simulators for their generation. So I thought now that I'm in a position to give some back of my real-life knowledge to the community, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Omri, copy that. I hope I can give you a satisfactory review at the end. Amazing Maze, hi. Anthony, hi. Good to see you guys. So yeah, we are going to, we're right now in Newark. Today we're going to fly to Boston. So basically a very normal flight for this kind of airplane. It's basically the bread and butter of this airplane, doing these short hops for the legacy airlines, as well the regionals are doing basically a for example, SkyWest that we are in the livery of. We're doing a SkyWest flight today. Doing these flights for the legacies and doing the short feeder flights for them, essentially. Basically, we're gonna chat for a few more minutes over here. I want to ask you guys, whoever of you already downloaded or watched videos of this airplane, what do you guys think, and what are your general impressions? And then we're going to start flying. Departure time I set for 12:40 local, which is in 37 minutes. So if essentially I plan to be at the flight like about 30 minutes before we actually block out of here. Maybe if we're ready early, we'll push early. That's fine. I just wanted wanted the opportunity to go a little bit through the systems, the flows, and basically see what there is over there to see. Speaking of flows and checklists, I will use my own flows that are not 100% my company's flows. Sorry, that's a very annoying song. I'm gonna switch it up. Let's say this. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to use my own flows, which are, I would say, 85 to 90% my airline's flows, and I will cover that. So it's not going to be 100% accurate to what we would do in real life, but very, very, very close. I'm going to lean on my experience flying this airplane both as an FO, first officer. So FO, if I interchange those, they are the same for this matter, and as a captain. So I'll try to give you guys the both flows. These are not my official flows tutorials, okay? I'm not going to go deep at all. Well, maybe I'm not planning to, but if something calls for it, I will. And I'm not going to test the heck out of this airplane. I'm going to test some features. I'm basically going to treat it like the average flight simmer or line pilot, essentially, coming to fly this airplane for like a normal line flight. So we're not going to test some obscure functions, just basically stuff we would use on the everyday life. Amazing Maze, okay, I haven't got it yet. Okay, cool. I hope I can give you a good picture, whether or not you want it. I saw a video or two, not all the way through, just the beginning. And I saw some communications from the developer, Marco. I have to say I'm very impressed with their communications, with the community. Marco, that is, and the entire release media coverage, I would say. Very, very transparent. I feel I'm very aware of what there is to know, I think. We'll find out, I guess. So that's a very, very big plus. Now, as I said, I'm going to use my own flows covered by the checklist that the developer have provided. So whatever they say, we need to check at the checklist. So this is how we work in real life. We have flows, right? And at the end of each flow, when there's a trigger, we run the checklist. The checklist verifies that we did everything that there is to do. So that I'm going to use whatever is provided by the developer. So yeah, we'll see. I already loaded the weight and balance. There's other tutorials that show you exactly the product features. I'm not going to show you every single feature that they incorporated. There's plenty of other videos. The texturing looks good. The modeling looks amazing. We just did a walk around that looks pretty accurate. I'm going to answer one question. I know it's a bit controversial. Is it study level? I know it's not necessarily, nobody says it is right now at the same level of PMDG, but I'm going to offer a different perspective of what is study level. To me, when I started my type rating on the Embraer E175 a few years ago, there was not a lot of representation for this aircraft. So I barely had anything to go by. The few things that were available were not very professional. Ooh, I guess reversers are out. That's cool. That's not realistic, speaking of which. But yeah, my question would be, can I use this to A, enjoy a nice flight on VATSIM, and B, can I use this to actually practice flows and checklists on the real airplane if I'm training for it? Okay, I'm not expecting, well, the way it works in the real life, you go to when you go to an airline for the first time you start the class. So there's 2 weeks of what's called INDOC. INDOC is basically company procedures, regulations, etc. The documentation of the company, how to report safety events, etc. Then you get the iPad with the systems and you just practice CBT computer-based trainings in the iPad. And then you come back to the training center, you do a test on the system. Speaking of which, I will see how the systems are kind of sort of modeled. And then you do a flat panel or a FTD or flight training device. Basically not a full moving flight simulator yet, just like a procedural trainer. So I'm going to treat this as a procedural trainer and see how well it gets me ready to the next stage, which is the flight maneuvers training. That would be on a full motion sim, and for that you need an actual feeling of an airplane. So that's not what this is for. I'm measuring this X-craft based on the measurement of let's say what it would be like to use it as a procedural trainer before the full motion sim. So that's the measurement I'm using. So let's get into it. Opening the door, that's quite cool. This is exactly how it looks in real life. Getting into the airplane, I'm not gonna do a tour or anything. You guys can see that in other videos, but it looks very realistic, I can already tell you that. We are cold and dark. Let's get the noise out of the way. Actually, what do you think? Music or no? Up to you. I'm waiting a couple of minutes. Maybe I'll turn it down, like way down. Okay, getting into the flight deck, I would want to see the certificates, and sure enough, there is a airworthiness certificate. I want to see the registration as well. Somewhere hidden it will be the radio certificate as well. But yeah, we'll get to it. Let's power it up because the flight attendants probably want to work, and we are departing out of here in about 27 minutes, which is about 2 minutes before boarding. That's where we are now. So let's see. So first things first, I want to verify that we can configure the power up the airplane. So I'm going to verify that there's no open write-ups in the maintenance log. And basically, if the maintenance log is here, that I know the maintenance personnel did not take it away because they're working on something on the airplane. So it's okay to flick up some switches and stuff. Batteries off, fuel switches are all on auto, emergency light should be off, and so there it is, it's off. I haven't touched anything yet, guys, so it was armed, now it's back to off. APU is off, I forgot to say, APU here is in, the GPU is out, APU off, wipers are in the off position, lights are set, we just need the nav light for now. Hydraulic pumps are all auto and 3A is off. Now that we're coming back here, the gear lever is down, the speed brakes are up, and the flap slat is up because it agrees with the actual position of the flaps, and we can see that they are up. Fantastic, so which means we can get the batteries on. Already unrealistic that we already got an ICAS message. That's unrealistic. I am going to cancel it out. We're supposed to not have anything for the first 5 seconds. And now a VV8. Okay, we're in what's called an electrical emergency mode, so we're only seeing displays 2 and 3, and ISS, the MCDU2, the CCD2, the ACP1 I believe should be on, and it's not for some reason. The clock, and obviously the compass, which is not powered by anything, so that's quite cool. Alright, at this stage you can see now the ICAS kind of popped up with the messages. Now we would get the message, so we would cancel it out. Once we did, we can do a fire test. We get the lights here. 5, 2, and we got the warning lights, the fire bells. The triple chime should stop if you just leave the test alone, so it shouldn't just keep going like this. The rest of the test was actually pretty good, which means now we can test the batteries. 23, well, we want to see at least 22 here. 21 means we need to do some maintenance stuff, but yeah, above 22 we're fine. So here comes the GPU, and we'll let the airplane wake up on its own. I'll use that time to show you real quick how we looking on this one, and I'm not going to deal a lot with the release itself. Okay, it's not about how to read a flight release and a flight plan, all that stuff. I do have tutorials for that, nor is it precisely about every flow that I'm going to do. Okay, I do have tutorials for that. You're welcome to check them out, as well as for the systems. I'm not going to test every system in depth. I do have videos for that. They're based on the field there, Embraer for P3D. I just want to see how everything operates. We're doing SkyWest flight 3681, going from Newark to Boston. The weather is fine, you can trust me on that. I checked already. Climbing to 29,000 feet, zero fuel of 66, we'll call it 67.0. Takeoff weight of 75.5. That's very typical for us. Kind of slightly on the heavy side. We must be quite fully loaded. 39 minutes in the air, typical for this kind of trip. No extra fuel, but as I said, we did take an alternate of JFK. The weather is fine, so we don't need an alternate. Honestly, the only reason I took it is because I want to see how the FMS reacts to having an alternate, and I'll show you what I mean later. So we need a block fuel of 8.9-ish. 8.9-ish, that's good. And I'm saying ish because we do have some tolerances for a little bit below. As long as we take off within the minimum takeoff fuel, which is this guy, we are fine. Into the reserve in the FMS, we're looking at the final reserve. We're looking at 2115. That's what goes over there. We got a route that's very basic. It's a direct merit. And then Roebuck 3 arrival into Boston, expecting 22 right at Whiskey, departure out of Newark, and Boston runway 27. I'm not on VATSIM, by the way. I want complete freedom when it comes to what procedures to do and when to start descent, because I want to test some functions. Again, not going to dive too much, not going to tear the airplane apart. I just want to see that some basic functionalities that we use every day are there. I do understand that holdings are not there, but nevertheless, I do want to test the rest. using default scenery, so, and basically it's almost bare bones explained. So if you see anything, it's not because I modified it or anything. So it's not trying to give it as much of a clean test sequence as I can. Cool. Airplane has woken up. Why do I not see the yaw damper advisory light here? We should. The sign, I think we saw it before. It went away, which leads me to believe maybe we're pressurized on the hydraulics. Yes. So hydraulic 1 and 3 provide a hydraulic pressure to the yaw damper. Why are we pressurized? So yeah, on auto, on this situation, we should not be pressurized. I'm assuming it takes it as because the EDP, the engine-driven pumps, are not running, it takes it into account to start pressurizing them, but it's not valid necessarily when you just power up the airplane. Anyway, we'll get to that. Oh, I see that both displays are duplicated. Okay, let's get to work here, guys. So first things first, when I sit down, I want to check the CBs. Function is not currently available, but basically we don't want to see any CBs open. That's fine. I'm not expecting it. Airplanes to work it. Nav ident. So we're our May 12th, 23. We have a good active nav data, and the UTC 1620 is correct as well. 21 even. Cool. In this stage of our preparation, we just want to put the airports and the flight plan and the skyway, sky, and basically the flight number. What was it again? 30. I probably have it somewhere here written down. 3681. And so we're going to close the flight plan for now. Oop. So I guess we cannot. So we won't close it for now. And I would want to also add the alternate, which apparently I cannot. See that? That's already something. Maybe I can do that on flight plan page. Nope, I can't. Usually there should be another next page with the alternate, so I cannot do this. So back to here, Newark to Boston. You can see the cyan, that's a modification. That's especially for load 27. My company, we use both mod 25 and 27, so if I make some mistakes, that's because it's very easy to confuse the two. So now it's a cyan, and I'm going to activate it, and now it's in green, which means it's active. Okay, so that's all we do for now, and if we had data link, we would go in, and this is when we can connect and say we signed the release, everything looks good to me. And this stage we're going to go here, we're going to press DVDR control panel, we're going to press the test for 3 Mississippis. 1, 2, 3 Mississippi. Awesome. And I leave it and basically don't want to see any ICAS messages, so I don't. Awesome. Auto, everything here looks good, and an annunciator test looks good to me. These are all on auto for now. We'll test the emergency light, switch it to on, and we just basically that's cool. We just basically want to see the emergency light on and emergency light not armed, and once we switch it back, what am I doing? It's now gone, so that's a good test. Steer off, by the way, is good. We don't want to. Basically, the ground personnel at this stage would disconnect the steering from their panel downstairs. We leave those off for now. If we did not power up the airplane ourselves because it just arrived and it was a turn or something, this is when we're going to do a fire test. We already did it and it was good, so I'm going to leave it alone. APU we can leave off for now. We'll start it in just a few minutes. Windshields are off. External lights are as required. This is what we require for now. Hydraulics we're going to leave exactly as is for the time being. Pressurization, the most important one is mode auto. That's a tricky one. Oh, I see it's not even modeled, so I can't even change anything here. But the mode is kind of tricky. It doesn't necessarily show on ICAS, or it does in a very obscure way. So this is a tricky one to miss, an easy one to miss, I should say. Are the packs in? Okay, there we go. Okay, these all look good. Dark and quiet cockpit, guys. So if you don't see a light, it means that the switch is in its normal position. Cool. We checked the outer. We checked the overhead. Now I want to basically check this. Why can I not? How can I set hundreds of feet? Maybe I missed something. I did not have a thorough read of the manual, but how do I do? Maybe you guys know. So I wanted to do 2500 because we're going to do the Newark for departure. I'm going to set 3000 instead. We would normally do FMS speeds. I understand it's not modeled. I'm going to set the speed to 10. I'm going to tell you later why. Well, why should I not tell you now then? Basically, if we had FMS speeds, as soon as we put the V speeds, the FMS speeds would automatically go to V2. It doesn't mean that the toga is in any way reliant on that speed. It's just that's the speed we would want to keep if we had an engine failure right after takeoff. As soon as we took off, we're in takeoff mode until basically it's our time to hit any other vertical mode. So flight level change, VNAV, etc. Once we hit those, or once those get activated, they get, instead of the TO mode, and then they would pitch us for that speed. But at that stage, we would already, that's like at 1000, we would want to accelerate to 210 and deploy the flaps, retract the flaps, excuse me. So 210 is the first speed I'm going to actually need to use for the AFDS. Heading, runway heading. Let's set it to actually 190 per the SID. I'm going to show you later with the briefing. The rest looks good. I'm verifying that FMS is selected, and I use that time to set the lighting, the brightnesses. Is it working? Yes, it is. Awesome. Beautiful. Is the flood stream working? Yes, it does. That's awesome. And the chart light we're not going to see anyway. Reversionary panel, nothing here, no flags, everything looks correct. What was the altimeter? Let's check it on. The weather, so 290 at 5, 10 such miles, few 7,000, broken 25,000, 29 degrees Celsius, altimeter 3007. I'm going to set that over here. I'm sorry if I'm missing things from chat, guys. I'll try to catch up later. I just want to get things going and kind of talk through it. If you have any questions, just shoot them in the comments in the chat, and I'll try to get to them. So 3007, indicating a good altitude here. Everything looks correct. It's sourced to my side. I'm going to be flying today. And yeah, everything looks normal. You might, those of you with a keen eye would notice that we did not align the IRS, and that we don't have any switches for the IRS. That's right, we don't have switches. It's completely transparent to the pilot. It's completely automatic. We could align the IRS in the FMS. So we'd go to nav index, then I guess it's pretty basic, but over here we'd have position sensors, and would have basically all the positions, all the FMS. I can see that now we don't have it, but we'll get to it. So in here we basically want to see the crew oxygen, want to see the brake accumulator pressure. The brake temperatures are kind of high. I guess that they just arrived from somewhere. And going to the hydraulics, they're already pressurized, which, as I said, it's a mistake. But I'm looking at the not the pressure yet, because we theoretically haven't pressurized it, but the quantity, it's not in the cyan. We want it in the white and the green. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking. I use the time to go to fuel page and check that everything is balanced. We can see the same information here, but it's a good opportunity to see that. By the way, we're about 10 minutes from push, so APU I'm gonna turn on. I just switch it to on for a second. I want to see that everything turned on. When we do this, the APU fuel shuttle valve should have turned amber for a second and then green to indicate that everything is in control and open. It did not do that, but let's nevertheless start the APU. And now it is. Okay, I guess. It's turning on. Usually my system is I keep this page on the next thing that needs to happen. So now I'm turning on the APU for the electrical. So I'm going to give that here to show me, okay, we didn't do something in this realm. The rest can stay here. Auto brake would stay here for now. Here I'm looking for nothing special in the ICAS. Why am I in reserve mode? In reverse mode. That is not correct. I don't know. What did I do to do that? Nope. It's not the right button. Nor is this. Okay. Here's the APU. It is on after 3 seconds of being above 95%. We will have the APU available here for electrical and for air. So that's here. So which means we can disconnect the GPU like that, and we can give them the signal to disconnect it. So return to EFB, ground services. We can disconnect the GPU. Get the ground objects away and get the cargo off. Awesome. So, so far so good. The next stage would be to pressurize the hydraulics. So I'm tuning it for here. We got the fuel that we want. Everything looks good and correct here to me. Everything here looks good and guarded as it should. I don't know why we are in reverse thrust mode. Nevertheless, okay, interesting. I can't pick the microphone that I'm transmitting on. Oh, that's cool. So that's to call the ramp. Okay. Door, nothing. Let's check the trim.
Trim.
So after 3 seconds, it should have stopped. It did not stop. It keeps on going. Okay, so that's a mistake. I'm assuming it's the same for roll and yaw, but let's check nevertheless. Yep, they just keep on going. There's a 3 second protection here, and that should stop automatically. So anyway, we leave it centered now, and I would test both my controls and this here. This is good. The checklists are here and are good. I would check this. We're not on ramp. Excuse me, we're not on speaker. Okay. Okay, it stopped eventually. And I can't turn it to emergency. So that's so we can't do a full test. We can do some testing here. Anything interesting here? Oh, that's the visor. Okay. Fantastic. At this stage, we are basically determined that the airplane is good, so we can actually start programming things. So, let's do this. Let's do just this. I'll take the CDU. Ooh, it's big. Let's get it smaller. Can I? No. How can I make it smaller? Okay, I don't know if I can, but I won't dive too much into it. I don't want data link for now. I'm going to set the route. So departure. I'm going to set runway 22 right at Whiskey, Newark for departure. So this is what's active. We have nothing active yet. This is the modification that's selected. So now if we apply this, it turns into the route. So it's basically vectors. And then after that, we're going to add merit into here. Okay, and as you can see, Boston was already there. Vectors and merit are the new ones. And now I want to set the arrival This is it's not yet the runway and the approach. We're only at this stage in my company. We would set just the star from Roebuck 3 from Merit. This is what we want to see. Do I agree with it necessarily? No, but this is the way, nevertheless, we do it. Can I select it then? I guess it doesn't let me. So, in real life it would let me, but I will then add the entire thing. So now I can apply it. That's a mistake on the developer part. We could, and we do, in fact, add the stars without the runway on a daily basis. But this is in, so we can see direct Merit Roebuck 3 to Merit, direct IB and IB to the ILS-27 in Boston. And as we said, we could not input the... then we should have seen the missed approach for runway 27 and then the alternate page. So we can see none of them. So just a simple stuff. We can use that time to check it. Let's see. So, I'll get back to hydraulics, but I do want to go to map. Everything here is, I don't want nav aids and airports. No missed approach, I see. Maybe I can get terrain. Is there weather here? Install terrain radar. Okay, I did not install it. That's my bad. Is there weather? I guess there is. We'll check it later. We do have a forced standby mode here. Okay, what's happening? I didn't do anything. Is my airplane freaking out? I don't know. Okay, that's okay. We saved it. Bottom right corner of the FMC. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Thank you, Mr. Kordetsky. I appreciate it. That is much better for my eyes. My eyes are very thankful for you. Let's check the plan, and I just want to see what's in there. So these are the vectors to Merit, Ruiz, Olin, Banky, Roebuck 3, Provi, Judy. I feel like there should be more than Judy, for sure. I don't know why it ends up in Judy. There's more to this star. Interesting. Okay. That's not correct. I don't know if it's the database or the developer or whatever. But that's in. So now we can go to the perfinite. At this stage, we said we want the reserve from the flight plan. So reserve fuel is final reserve 2115. Right here, it won't let me. Okay. Takeoff and landing. So takeoff we use, so it's kind of misleading. It's not takeoff and landing fuel, it's the taxi until takeoff and taxi after landing fuel. So taxi fuel for us today is 360. And as a standard, we put 200 after landing. Okay, it let me, that's cool. Alternate fuel is for JFK is 2336. Invalid entry. Okay, we've established that we don't have an alternate capability on this version. Cruising altitude is going to be flight level 290 with a ISA deviation. Where would it be? There it is. Temperature deviation on top of climb is +3. Okay, and the cruise winds, we're going to take the ones for the whole route. So 318 at 70. Zero fuel weight, we're going to leave as is for now. Okay, same for the takeoff CG. We're going to do it later when we actually have the load sheet from the station. Climb speeds, we're going to manage them ourselves because it's not implemented yet, but yeah, these look okay. Wonder if I can change something. For example, I like matching the cruise and the descent ones, so there's no discrepancy. Okay, that's cool. Let's do that for here. And for climb, I'm gonna do 270 at 7.4. Okay, cool. Takeoff data set we're gonna do after we get the performance, but we want to check the progress. We want to see that the ground distance 242 matches. I guess it does not. The distance to Boston. For some reason, that's not correct. We got IIWY. Is that what we want? Yeah, reserve in minutes. It has that option in the actual airplane. We don't use it. We just put what the dispatch has calculated. We don't let the FMS calculate it for us. We put whatever is calculated based on the fancy computers that the dispatcher has, and that's why we just input the final reserve here. How are we doing on time? We should have left like right now, but nevertheless, I'm going to take my time just a little bit further. For the departure, let's see, I want airport for the departure. We are doing 22 right at Whiskey, climbing left turn to heading 190. 190 is set to 2.3 ILSQ. Let's see if I can put ILSQ in here. No. Okay, let's check the radio. ILSQ. Okay. 111.7. Is that the correct one? ILSQ. No, it should have been 108.7. So let's do that. 108.7. Okay, that's the one. Let's see if I can see that here. ILSQ. Now I do get the good the right identifier. That's cool. So at least that. It needs to be tweaked a little bit further, but I can work with what we have. 108.7. So that's on both sides until 2.3. So let's see if I can also put the 2.3 into the fixed page. Is there a fixed page? No, there is not. Usually I would put a ring around the LSQ, but it's not implemented. Okay, and then climbing right turn, heading 220, maintain 2,500, establish. I don't know what to do because I can't really set the altitude to hundreds of feet, just thousands. But what I can do, let's see, preview. Here we go, and the course I would set to 220. And that's going to be just a visual remark for myself to turn after we hit the 2.3 DME from ILSQ. Cool. Maintain 2,500. Top altitude set by ATC. Why not? Let's go to... oh, wait. Now it's working. I don't know what did I do. Okay, you know, guys, that's... I don't know what I changed, but... Only thing that I can think of is that I added the preview. That's the only thing that I saw changing. Anyway, so that's, I'm going to put 7,000, not because it's realistic, but because I plan to hand fly a little bit of the departures to see how it feels. So at this point we would do a release briefing and flight release briefing, a departure review. I'm not going to do the whole ceremony here. I just want to show you what we're doing. 190 until 2.3, then right turn 220. If we lose an engine, it's going to be straight ahead, so I can just follow the runway heading 220. As for the taxi out of here, we're at Bravo 47. Probably exit Romeo Delta to join Bravo, turning into Romeo to runway 22 right at Whiskey. At this stage of real life, we would do the before start checklist to the line. So let's do just that. That's the safety inspection, power up. Okay, before start to the line, passengers. I guess, yeah, that's right. I have a little flow here to do. So in this stage, I would do auto brake, seat belts, and then boom, boom, boom. And we want to see. So I won't see them individually. I just say hydraulic pumps not auto. Also, at this stage, we are finally pressurizing the hydraulics, so we want to see those indications exactly finally. And the yaw damper off should be going away, but it's gone away for a long time ago. At this stage, I would go here. Yeah, that we can do the before start checklist to the line. Passenger sign set, pressurization panel set, flight instrument set 3007, and cross-checked. Oxygen masks checked, and thrust lever idle, except we're having a reverse. No, we don't no longer. Yeah, we still have reverse thrust. Interesting. I hope we can snap out of it. That is interesting. I hope we can get out of reverse thrust. Otherwise, it would be a very quick stream, and I can show you a live demonstration of how to do an announcement to the passengers that we're going back to the gate. Cool. At this stage, we would probably get a call, hey, boarding is complete. Can we close the doors? And we'd get the paperwork, or nowadays they're coming electronically to the A cars. So now we can tell them, yes, clear to close. So here we are, clear to close. Verifying this here. Nice. They would close the flight deck door. With the closing of the flight deck door, the sterile segment of our flight begins. So sterile signal is on. And let's do a below the line checklist. Below the line, basically. Seatbelt sign and seatbelts are on and all that stuff. The first officer will get the red beacon on. We'll get the transponder to TA only. I understand we don't have that function yet, so let's simulate that by doing TA array. Now we can do the below the line. Fuel quantity checked to get 8.7. We need 8.9. That's within tolerance. MCDU set. Trim panel set. We would, in my company, would do this later. Doors and windows closed and locked. External lights, red beacon switch on, and emergency parking brake as required. They're still on for now. At this point, usually we would coordinate with ground personnel if they want us to do anything, release the brakes or something like that. But in the meantime, we did get our performance, so we can get the takeoff performance calculated. So we're at Newark. Takeoff weight. Is this right? I guess so. Runway. It's going to be 22 right. I cannot do, for some reason, an intersection departure. So we'll just go with it. I'm just testing the airplane. It's not going to be 100% correct. Thrust, we're going to use takeoff 2. Conditions dry today. Flaps 2 is our standard. Wind, let's see. By the way, guys, if you have any questions or something, so far this is a very good time. After that, we're going to start working a little bit more. 290 at 5, excuse me. Temperature 29. And QNH 3007. What am I missing? I just want to make sure that this takeoff weight makes sense. We're expecting to be just a little bit heavier than that, so I'm going to plan for 75,000. Compute. Cool. Let's see. We've got flaps 2, V1 136, 38, V2 is 141, and VFS 195. That's our velocity of final segment. So whether we lose an engine or we're still 2 engines, but we want to do max climb as soon as we're clean, 195 is your speed. Alright, 2 right, that's correct. So we'll come back to that. We do the weight and balance procedure. So I guess this is a correct weight. So we're planned it a little bit heavier, that's okay. I'm not gonna cry about it too much. So let's go to perfinite. Now we want to finally get the zero fuel weight, which is 64.7, 64,700. We just round. We get those numbers rounded to begin with. So 64.7 in here. Takeoff CG. We need this value. Takeoff CG 19.3. And at this stage, it would prompt us to confirm. Let's say we did. For some reason, it did not want to do that for us. Let's see. Okay, takeoff. Interesting. This is not how takeoff pages would initially... I guess we would need to go through takeoff init. It would prompt us automatically to go there. So here we don't really need to do anything because we're not... Remember, we're using an external thing to compute things. We're not using the external the external performance calculation. So we don't actually need to put anything here ever, at least in my company procedure. We do need to check that flaps 2 are set. Flaps 2 is checked. At this stage, we can go to... oh, was that takeoff data set? Yeah, it's a little bit of a mishmash here. Usually it would prompt you very nicely to go to the next page. Takeoff data sets were TO2, ADIX on, ECS on. It would tell us here. I'm assuming ECS is on. It should be. NTI is off. Takeoff temperature. We need to enter. If we click this, there's a rotating here. So I guess this is not working. Let's try inputting it here. So that is working. That's good to know. And I just want to know if flex is working. Okay, let's just try flex 40. Is it working? I guess not. And we don't have anything here, which is weird. We don't have anything here. I don't know what happened, but it's not there. FMS takeoff. Now I can put the V speeds on in 136, 138, 141, 195. Pitch trim is 4.5 up. The first officer would set it up. 4.5 up is set. And captain would press toga. Roll TO, LNAV, and VNAV. In my operation, we can totally use them, but in my operation we don't, and I just kind of want to actually do my procedures and test whether or not I could have used this add-on as a trainer from my company. So that's what we're doing now. Canceling those. James, do I regular sim as a hobby? Do I get enough of your flying itch out of real world flying? Well, yes and no. I don't regularly fly Embraers in the routes that I fly in real life. I would regularly sim, but things that are more interesting that I don't get to do, like DC-6. You can check out my channel. I'm doing a Pan American around the world trip. So that's 74200, stuff like that. Or if I want to train towards something, but not this I'm doing for the community. This the Embraer I'm doing for the community to help you guys. Anyway, once we put everything in, we got the roll takeoff. We can see the crossbars. We would see that the FMS speeds are set, and we would be on V2. So the FMS would set it to 141. I explained earlier that I'm just going to put it at 210. Also, bear in mind we're taking off with flaps 2. The maximum speed for flaps 2 is 215. So if we don't do anything, just climb at 210, we're still not going to overspeed the flaps. Hopefully by then we will retract the flaps. Cool. Everything looks good to me. We are fully set. We did our checklist. We did the below the line. We did our performance. So it's time to go. Using better pushback. Let's see if it works. Let's see. One of the only things that I'm using here that's not default.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Okay, I am ready, sir. Plug in, better push back, start pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Now at this stage, usually, the captain would be here on the status page. What I'm looking for in the status page for engine start, I want to see that I have enough PSI in both ducts for the engine start. Basically, I want to see above 40, so this is good. This is very normal, good indication. Later on, when I taxi, I want to see the brake temperatures, that I'm not getting high, because this airplane really, really wants to taxi on you. The first officer would, I can see that it's the same display, but the first officer would go to flight control page because...
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Right, sir, go ahead. So the first officer would be already on flight control page because they are waiting for their next thing, which is the flight control check. We'll be on here. I do want to try out...
Winching strap and adapter in position. Release parking brake when ready to start pushback.
Alright, sir, parking brake release, clear to push. Yes. Maybe. Pretty, please.
Starting pushback.
Thank you.
You may start engines.
Oof, I was worried for a second. Let's see that it's actually moving. Yeah, in our operation, it's very normal. I forgot to toggle the... whoop. What's happening? It's freaking out. What'd I do? Let's try... Okay, let's try to reset it again. I swear I... Wait, okay. Okay, that's fine. I think X-Plane set the parking brake for me, which I did not intend to happen, just because I accidentally pressed the ground service panel. Anyway, where was I? It's very common to be on... It's very common to be on single-engine taxi to begin with, and then once you see that there's no huge line for takeoff, that's when you start the other engine on. We just need to make sure we have a warm-up of at least 2 minutes before we actually take off. So, yeah, keep going. Push back. You're fine. Cool. So let's start the engine. Timer is running. Start engine 1, please. Here we go, and 2, that's way too fast. Way too fast. Ignition, fuel flow, yeah, it's not usually happening that fast. And 1. Scoofy is saying, man, I'm disappointed with this. The fact that it's default explain LNAV, VNAV, default explain engine model.
Operation
That's
complete.
What a shame.
Set parking brake.
I'm in parking brake set, clear, disconnect. Thanks for the push. Have a good one.
Stand by.
But in effect, we have a good engine start. And how do we know this? Because the engine limit jumped to... the ITT limit jumped from the start. You can see the start limit for engine 2, which is not started yet. And it's there. Why are we in reverse thrust? I don't get it. Okay, I'm gonna treat it like it didn't happen for now. So once they have disconnected, we have a tug, a tow bar, and a wave off on the right over there. At this stage, we can set the flaps to our departure flaps, which is 2. I would press the steering, basically the steer wheel. And to get rid of the steer off, but it was already off. Oh. So now I'm getting some indications here, not all of them, and I'm still in reverse thrust. so I don't get it. Let's do a flight control test. Full up, full down, full left, full right, and I'm going to, while the steer is off still, I would do the rudder check, and then I would hit the steering wheel to get rid of the steer off. Again, we should only see one message for both hydraulic pumps, not auto. The rest looks okay. We can do the after start checklist. Ground equipment removed, slat flap 2 set, 2 in the performance, 2, and the lever is 2 set. Flight controls checked, after start checklist complete. Next, okay, I get it. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, thanks, better pushback. I guess you're still connected. Let's get rid of you. I'm sorry. Plugin admin. It's been doing that also in the feelies for me, so I don't know why, but here we go. We're still in reverse thrust, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a very short stream if we can't get off reverse thrusts. If you have any idea what am I doing wrong here, let me know. Okay, parking brake is off. Let's see if we can get this thing to move. Just based on one engine. Yes, we can, but backwards. That's interesting. What is this sorcery? Okay, I toggled the reverse again. Maybe that's what I needed to do. Both thrust levers are moving. I'm only moving my right one. You can see the left one. The right one you can see over here is separate. But nevertheless, both of them are moving. Let's see if we can taxi this way. Usually no more than 40% around the ramp area. We don't want to blow things behind us too much. But here we go, guys. We're taxiing on single engine. That's not so bad at all. So it is moving. We established that. It is braking. Yeah, it's doing what it should. So let's go back to status page. Usually in real life I would wait a little bit more, but since I'm single pilot here, I'm gonna go ahead and start engine number 2. Again, I want to see the good duct pressure. Notice that the APU is still running, because that's how we don't need a cross bleed start. We still have the APU running. The ECS pressurization system is just going to do everything in the background. All we need to do is hit, hey, please start engine 2, and it would do it for me. Yeah, again with a very fast N2 rise, but the fuel flow and the ignition are coming just on the right cues. Just the cues are happening way too fast. Oh, I forgot to turn the taxi light on before we started moving. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Now we have 2 good engine starts, which means the first officer would have a mini flow to do in just a minute. We'll just complete the turn here to Bravo. Yeah, the airplane kind of wants to go on its own. It's realistic. Honestly, in real life, it would probably, on this short flight with this not so heavy weight, it would want to go a little bit more. But nevertheless, it's taxiing like an airplane. That's pretty good. So the flow of the first officer would be electric pump auto. So now all of them are auto, and APU off because we're taking off with ECS ECS on. And I gotta say, it's been a while since I did the FO flows, so I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything for them. No. Notice that once we have the 2 engines, the PSI of the ducts are gone, which is fantastic. We do have good temperatures here. I don't believe they're responding to the actual braking. like if I would see this kind of indication in real life while taxiing, I would think to myself, I better not overheat them by the time I get to the top of the runway. But I guess they're not heating anymore. Actually, I think they're moving backwards. But yeah, it's very important not to ride the brakes in this airplane. Yeah, look, I'm adding a little bit thrust over here. In real life, with 2 engines on, it would want to go, man. I would have to constantly ride the brakes and implement some techniques to lower the amount of brake usage. For example, letting it accelerate almost to the limit, which is 30, so like at 27, 28, and then brake until they get the speed down to 15 or 20 or so, and then let it accelerate a little bit. And yeah, it's not realistic that it doesn't want to go this fast. I need to add thrust with 2 engines. That's unheard of. Anyway, we are getting close to the departure runway. But we do have, seems like a minute. I did not reset the clock here since after start. So let's assume the engine started in under a minute. So we wanted to see 3 minutes and then we are set for the departure. And we are officially warmed up. Waiting for the cabin to announce that they are secure for takeoff. They did. APU is still shutting down, and it did. We are waiting for it to basically go APU shuttle valve close. Let's see if we can see that here. Oh, not this one. Fuel. So according to this, the fuel shuttle valve is already closed. So we would want to see a message about it here. Nevertheless, looks okay, I believe. The crossbleed would probably not be open because we have 2 good separate systems for each engine to their respective pack. Nevertheless, I can go to map and be ready. Just a quick reminder, right after takeoff I'm going to hit heading. So, excuse me, at 400 feet I'm going to hit heading, turn to 190. At 2.3 ILSQ, right turn to 220. I see ILSQ has changed. I'm not going to bother checking why. But at 2.3 DME here, I'm going to set the heading to 220. Which is pre-selected at the course. If we lose an engine, it's going to be a sync heading, and bank, and accelerate at 1,000. Our top altitude is 7,000. That's non-standard and not realistic. I just set it for what I want. Noam, hello, good to have you, man. Mr. Kardetsky, ground friction model. I don't know. It feels okay, but I would expected the real airplanes to accelerate a lot more. Anyway, we're coming up on Whiskey. Whiskey is over here. That's our lineup position. Everything looks okay. So at this stage, let's assume we got clearance to line up and wait. So the captain would go. Remember, we hit toga way before when we did our performance. We don't need to hit toga again. Now I'm going to arm the auto throttle. There it is. So it is armed. Okay, and turn the lights on. Usually when we line up we do this structure. So let's do just this, line up and wait. Ding the flight attendants 2 times. That would be the FO.
Takeoff okay.
Takeoff okay. The takeoff config was successful. And now if we had our transponder to TA only, this is the time where the FO would change it to TA-RA. Final is clear. We are just line up and wait, and we do the before takeoff checklist. Brake temperature is checked. ICAS check, transponder TA-RA. Takeoff configuration check, before takeoff checklist complete. And let's say they did clear us for takeoff, so I'm going to turn the remaining lights on. I don't need the logo right now, it's daytime. Lining up. Notice I'm just a little bit, it's not a big airplane, but still I'm just a little bit overshooting the center line. And I still overshot a little bit. It's harder in the sim. And I don't know if you're ready, guys, but let's go. So 40% N1 on both engines. Let it stabilize. And it is stable based on the ITT reducing, and now we can set all the way up, and the auto throttle is taking over. TO is active now, and the auto throttle is active. So toga set, 80 knots checked. Wants to rotate on its own, huh? I don't see the V-speeds.
Rotate V2.
Okay, interesting. Okay, positive rate, gear up. Very unrealistic behavior of the flight director, I can say now. Here's 400 turning. I don't know why the heading got reset. I definitely did not want to do that. So here's 190. He's 1,000. And ILSQ 2.0. So now we're going to hit VNAV. What is it doing? Flight level change, SPDE, okay. And way more than 2.3. That came pretty quick. Going to 220. And actually we don't have any bugs on the speed tape at all. But nevertheless, flaps 1. Here's 220. It's way too energetic on the controls, I have to say this. And let's go, I'm assuming, based on no bugs at all. Flaps up, after takeoff checklist. Look, I'm flying my own attitude. The flight director is doing its own thing. I don't know what the hell it's doing. VNAV is not engaging.
Throttle.
I don't know why would the auto throttle disengage. Now I got flight level change. It looks like it's holding. I would want to pitch up. It's way too energetic on the pitch. I have no idea what it's doing. Honestly, I don't even know if I should get the autopilot on because I'm afraid of what it's gonna do. There was fly by team. There was no green dot. There's no takeoff bugs, takeoff speed bugs, no F bugs, no bugs at all. After takeoff checklist, landing gear up, flaps up, no lights. The ICAS got depopulated way too quickly here. So now that we have all the flaps retracted, we can accelerate to 250. We're not going to overspeed anything. The flight director is way too responsive. I can already see that I'm intentionally not tracking that because it's not realistic how it would fly this. We don't need the reference of the previous, so I'm going to get rid of it. Alrighty, now let's get the autopilot on. Why is it on track? I did hit heading, I believe. Okay, now it's in heading mode. Maybe I didn't hit heading. I don't know. But see what is it doing? It's not really behaving like it should, to be honest. That sets 290. And at this stage, let's go direct merit. Direct merit. Let's see what it does, I guess. Hasta la vista. Activate. Navigate. LNAV. In real life I would want to verify this, but honestly I don't know what to even verify and how. But let's see where it's going. Yeah, the clouds are looking pretty sweet, huh? This is the default. My X-plane is very bare bones. I barely installed anything on it. But it's basically better pushback, some scenery required packages, and a Phillies, which I love dearly. And that's it. We're climbing on climb 1 here, which honestly should have been climb 2. I'm getting the nose lights off just because it's my personal technique to remember that I did the after takeoff checklist. I don't know what the hell this flight director is coming from, or what does it want us to do. But nevertheless, we're climbing, we're flying. Arguably, you know, we can argue all day long, but we are flying a profile, certain profile here. and we're going roughly the right direction. Let's see what happens if I do another direct just to mess with it. That looks... Let's see. Here's Merit. Looks okay. That's the verification I would want. So activate again. Let's sync the heading bug. Oh, you know what? Maybe when I tried to hit heading, I actually synced the heading instead. Here's 10,000. So 10,000. First things first, we want to get there. So I'm going to accelerate past 250. 270 is a normal climb speed for us. It wouldn't be as violent to go as to level off this way, but it would capture 270 and then climb again. We're in green flight level change mode. Let's see if I can get to VNAV. There it is. VNAV flight level change. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It just means that if we do have any climb restrictions in the FMS, it would comply with them. If it's green FMS, like so, it would not comply with anything. It would just climb like an idiot to 290, which sometimes is the case. Sometimes ATC tells you unrestricted climb, which honestly that's the case right now. Above 10,000, we're accelerating, and now we can do stereo sign off and get all the lights off on the bottom two rows. I'm always glancing here to make sure the pressurization is looking okay. Honestly, I would expect the delta P at 10,000 to be way closer to 4.0. That's kind of a check that I do to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to. This is way too low delta P and way too low cabin altitude to be at almost 12,000 feet. But like I said, can I fly this thing? So far, yes. So far we're flying it. We're doing what it's supposed to be. Yeah, no, I agree. X-Plane 12, you know what? That's what I noticed with both X-Plane 12 and Microsoft Flight Simulator. They're very self-sufficient simulator, as in you don't need much to get them to be really nice, which is awesome. You don't need to spend a fortune on add-ons and keep updating them and keep messing with installation, and you install one thing and then there's a sim update, and the sim update is messing with one add-on installation. The bare bones is pretty nice. It's a nice looking airplane. There's a lot we can say about the systems, but man, it's nice looking. This is all default scenery, by the way, guys. You can kind of tell, but still, it looks beautiful. Guys, do you have any questions? I'm especially here to hear if you have any questions on how do you guys want to operate this when you sim on your own. Any questions about how to operate more realistically? I'm here for you. Oh wow, look at that. You cannot beat that view. That's, you know what, every time I fly here, it's amazing. Every time. And I fly here a lot. But every time I'm amazed by just how awesome it is to just overfly New York City. By the way, again, default. It's all default. I haven't touched anything. Alrighty. Yeah, I got the sounds way turned down on the external. That's why. So we're climbing nicely here, soon to cross 18,000, which is a transition altitude in the States. I think, first of all, 40 miles is not a range we would have. These are Boeing ranges. So we would have 2.5, then 5, then 12.5, then 25, then 50, then 100, then 150. Yeah. I do think it is too high of a cruising altitude, so that's kind of an exercise we can do. Let's reduce the cruising altitude to 22. Now I want to do 24. I'll show you later why. So that's set here. Now I want to set it also in the FMS. So I would go to perf init, and change the cruise altitude to 240. We can see the gross weight here. That's cool. Now if we go to perf landing, yeah, that's not a right. Oh, landing in it, okay. So landing weight would automatically populate based on nav, excuse me, perf data. Where's my perf data? I do not have it. So perf data does not exist. How about progress page? By the way, standards. This looks correct. Yeah, okay. Not amazing, but okay. I don't see any questions in chat right now. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. Then let's check out the charts for Boston. Let me close up all the Newarks. And Boston, so let's see what we want to see from here. First of all, we want to do the arrival, so it's a Roebuck 3 for runway 27. And we also want to see the approach to runway 27 and the ground chart. And the parking chart. Nice, very nice. So let's start from the end. I want to see about the approach. So I want to set the decision altitude 460. Why would it be RA? I probably should have caught that it's RA in the very beginning, but I didn't. Because I'm a very bad pilot today. 460 is set, and we want to set IDGU 1.3. I understand from the developer the autotune is not implemented yet, so I'm gonna keep the hard tune going. Let's just check if IDGU can be auto-tuned. It cannot. Let's see if I can set on progress page the frequency 111.3. Yeah, okay. And we'll probably be picking up in other airports, but still, it's nice that we can set it up already. And final approach was 272, so let's set it in the preview. Let's get rid of that for that. 273 was it? 272. As if I didn't do that 3 times in the past year. Let's just check the vertical speed here just for a moment. If it's working at all. Looks like it is. Pretty nice, pretty nice. And we can already accelerate to our cruising speed of 290. Yeah, thanks, altitude warning. Okay, what else? So that's all set. We can switch to VNAV, and I'm going to test the functions of the VNAV descent pretty soon. Let's see, do we want to go direct Ruiz? Yeah, let's assume we got direct Ruiz. Cross Ruiz at flight level 230. That's a very common direct penning, so that it would let me change things before the direct thing. So let's do direct Ruiz. That's fine. It is turning, that's nice. And now we gotta cross Ruiz at flight level 230. That's cool. That's set, activate. Now let's say we want to do, so that's already showing here as well, and it's showing a nice top of descent just before Ruiz. Let's say we don't want to do a 3-degree descent, but a 2-degree descent. Can we do that? Invalid altitude. That's because it's not an altitude, dummy. I'm trying to put an angle of descent to you. Would you accept, just like you see here, you see 0.1, that's a low font because it's pre-calculated. It shouldn't be. It should be based on the predetermined in perf init. Whenever we descend, we would have it here, the descent speed and degrees as well, but it's not. 1.5, nope. Okay, so I guess we cannot tune it. Now, dare I ask, can we do a VNAV direct? VNAV direct means from my present position. Why is it not maintaining altitude? Hey, autopilot, please maintain altitude. Thank you. That'd be very nice. I'm very trying not to criticize how the autopilot is flying the plane, but really, dude, that's like private pilot lesson 2. Fly by Tim, cruise power changed fast. I didn't notice. Good on you for noticing. It doesn't take 2 minutes. It takes a few seconds. I believe 7 seconds is like the magic number for changes of phases between the FMS to actually get implemented. Also, whenever we change like an FMS speed or something, 5-7 seconds it takes it to actually send it to here. But we're in manual speeds, not FMS speeds, but just for the example. Okay, what else? We want to check the arrival, right? So let's verify everything. So Ruiz flight level 210, 210 to 230. That's already overridden by ATC. They want us hard to 230. All in 17 or above. Banky 16 or above. Roebuck 12 or above. 19 or below, and want to also see a speed to 60. That's not implemented anyway, so we'll have to manually do this. In real life, I would probably also do a fix info page ring drawn around Roebuck to remind me this is the next restriction. Provi at 11 or above. That's here. Judy, nothing. Then we got all these points are missing. So that's nice. All these are not in there. Let's see if I can put it back in. Let's see what happens. So runway 27, ILS, IB, and Roebuck 3. Let's put this in. We need to go to Ruiz per ATC request and fly level direct pending. Okay, yeah. Okay. No, it doesn't let me. Normally, I would check everything before I'm activating, but now I'm kind of forced to do activate. And 230 again. Activate. Oop. Fly level 230. It's there. You can see as we're getting closer, the descent from our present position to Ruiz 230 is slightly increasing. In real life, we won't see this slight increase. We just want to see what the FMS has planned for us. The default is 3 degrees, so we will see a 3-degree descent to Ruiz. What I want to check is, can we do a descent now, which we can do within 50 miles of the waypoint. I can see that we do not. We don't have that option. When we are in LNAV and VNAV, in the legs page, we would have a descent now option, which is descending at 1,000 feet until the next restriction, 230. We don't have that option. Okay. Now, the rest is as we left it, and still not the rest of them. Again, I don't know if that's an issue with the database or the airplane, but it's just the simple fact is it's not there. Now let's check the rest. Waypoint center, that's right. Let's see. So yeah, we'll just fly, like give ourselves vectors from Judy to IB 6, Klein 4, Loner 3, repeat 1700. Is that all correct? IB6, Lane 4, Loner 3, repeat 1700, then Boston. Well, that's not correct. It should have been the runway 27, but it's not here. And this is now the missed approach, so that's not heading 000. It should have been 268, or I should say 272 until something. And 268 outbound to Bozox, but there is something here. That's nice. In real life I would also check the holding, but it's not implemented yet. I won't do a full briefing. I just wanted to check that everything is set up. We still need to add the performance. We'll do that in a second. But I will say that after landing 27, it's going to be a right turn. Echo cross the 2 runways, hotspot 3, and via Echo straight shot to the ramp, and we'll take Alpha 5 through the right lane, most likely. Cool. Is it 3 degrees and 3 degrees? Puppy on the left rails. 460s set. Frequencies set. Front approach was set. MSA 2000 and 2500 on the mist. Climb 3000 outbound. 268 to Bozox. ILS 27, 11, 4. So I just did a reverse approach briefing. Hope you forgive me. Fly by Tim, I'm looking it up now. AOM says 90 seconds unless post-mod airspeed within 5 of selected speed. Okay, I believe you. I remember it a lot faster, but maybe time is going by really fast when you're having fun. Okay, let's set up the 230 because we're getting close on top of the descent. That was that ding. So beep to you too, FMS. Thanks for that warning. Actually, let's say we got descent via. So I will do 11,000 to Judy. Normally, honestly, I would do Hoke do 5,000. You know what? Let's do that. Hoke do 5,000. No, we'll do 11 for now. Then the rest we'll do manually. I don't want to set the FMS up for failure with an altitude that's not actually programmed. So here's the path, and now it's going to basically track it, and we need to make sure we hit the 260 at Roebuck. Now let's check the performance real quick. Boston landing weight again. In the FMS we would use perf data. Can we do from here? No, perf data is grayed out. To get, or we could go to the landing page, to the perf landing, I guess landing in it, and landing weight would be implemented here. Since it's not, we can go to perf init and see what the current weight is. If I was feeling very, I would calculate it, but let's just go with 70.5. Oop, not the right one. 75. This is probably a restricted, the more restricting value. Flaps 5 is the normal one. Condition is dry. All reverses are operating. No icing. Wind. That's a good question. Boston weather right now 260 at 14, gusting 25. Okay, a little bit sporty. 260 at 14. Temperature a warm 27 degrees Fahrenheit and QNH of 2996. We can compute that. And look at that, we got flaps 5, go around to flaps 2, VRF 131, 136, that's not, because of the gusts we're going to increase the approach to 141, VAC 156, that's the go around on an engine failure speed, second segment, and VFS is the same as takeoff 190, so it's the same max climb with the clean configuration. So we do want to do landing in it and change the flaps to 5. The rest, as I said, it doesn't matter because we're not using the FMS to calculate anything for us. And landing. So VREF is 131. Are we doing on Roebuck? Still have some distance to Roebuck. We can probably start slowing down. Might be rude to do so. So 260 is set for the speed. We're descending nicely on profile, I must say. So I'm not doing anything here. It's just doing what it should. That's pretty nice. So 131 for the VREF. As I said, due to the gust, I'm going to increase the V approach to 141. Our limit is plus 15. So we'll do plus 10. That's reason. That's good enough, I believe. VAC of 156. And the coloring looks off, by the way. And VFS of 190. That should be all there. I hope we're gonna get some bugs. I didn't see a green dot or F bug at any point. I hope we can see some bugs on the landing and approach. We'll see. During takeoff they just disappeared and we never saw them, so. Roebuck between flight level 120 to 190 and then probably 11 or above. I'm just letting the airplane fly. From Judy we're gonna take it via vectors. I'm going to use auto brake medium. In real life it's not required to use the auto brakes. In fact, in a lot of our airplanes we don't even have auto brakes, so we can decide whichever we want based on performance. Guys, before the approach, I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you 2 questions. First of all, do you have any questions for me on the operation? Anything you want to see from the add-on? Anything you want to ask me about how to operate this correctly? Happy to answer. Another thing is just a quick reminder. I'm just for sport, I want to see how many likes and views we can get. I'd appreciate the support of the channel. If you can leave a comment, a like, subscribe, the whole shebang. It's not going to affect my livelihood or anything. You know, I'm doing fine as an airline pilot. It's just almost like a sport, but also I want to see how many people are actually enjoying my efforts here to give back to the community. So that would be very nice. If you want to leave anything like that. If you are really so inclined to buy me a coffee, you can do so with the link in the description. That's all I'm going to say about being a YouTuber. This is not my lifelong dream to be a YouTuber. So yeah, but as everyone, it's nice to feel appreciated. So yeah, feel free. Next speed is only at Cran 250. We're coming up on Pro V11 or above. 12 for 11,000. Usually I would also use in this situation the fix info. I'm a big drawer, as in I draw a lot of fix info stuff because it helps situational awareness. So I like drawing rings around the airports, etc. Not everybody, it's a technique. Not everybody does that. I do. I'm kind of missing that, to be honest, but I can kind of see where we are based on the distance. So I'm going to keep the speed a little bit high because we're still 40 miles away without counting the fact that we still need to go outbound and back inbound. But let's center the heading. We're coming up on the discontinuity. Already in discontinuity? No, we're coming up on from Provi to Judy in 7.4 miles. So why do we see the discontinuity? That's not realistic. See, the FMS would have wanted to keep the descent going just based on the direct track from Judy to the next point. So I think that's realistic. It is hard to tell. Most likely it would just show like a flat going from 11. Anyway, we can switch to a heading. And because we're in heading, we're not in a pink mode anymore for lateral, which means the VNAV would also not have anything to go by. So the alt would automatically turn green. It does not for some reason. So we'll force it to green by hitting VNAV. So let's slow down to 250 and be ready to descend. Oh, no, wrong button, the wrong knob. Nope, why does it change automatically out of alt? It should change. What happened here, guys? Okay, 2996, maybe I didn't say it before. But we're still in alt mode, that's good. 5,000, let's go with that for now. Actually, we can go all the way to 3,000. And let's hit flight level change. Let's see how it does the descent on flight level change. $2,996, and we would have done descent checklist by now. That's what happens when you're out of your normal environment. Transition altitude altimeter is set 2996, cross-checked. Above 10,000, sterile switch. It's at 10,000. That's it's literally the flow that we're doing. It's not a checklist for us. That's a descent checklist. Auto brake set. Medium landing data set. We know the speeds. And here's 10,000 feet. So sterile sign and those lights, just like that. Basically, we use the nose and the landing lights. Nose light to remind us if we got clear to the approach and to land, so we'll use that later. Now let's play a little bit. So we want to see what do I want to see? I want to see if it's switching properly from FMS to the approach mode. So let's draw a line from Klein, because I don't want to go all the way out to IB, but Klein seems reasonable to me. Can I do a track into Klein? I don't believe we can. So I'm gonna activate that. We're still heading mode, but I just want to activate that. Let's do again Klein. No, it would not let me. Okay. In real life, we could draw a line outside of Klein and just intercept it, much like a localizer. That's common. You can probably see it in every other airplane you may have flown in the past. Let's see, Itai, do you think a parent is good enough to fly with? A parent is good enough to fly with. Itai, I do not understand the question. Please ask again. Where's Cran on the map? Cran. Do you mean the yeah, Cran. We saw that later. When we set up the arrival ended at Judy for some reason, and it simply did not have in the database Cran, Cradle, Caleb, and Hokedo. They just didn't exist. I don't know if it's a airplane fault or an FMS database fault, but it just simply wasn't there. We're going through some clouds here. How's the outside the temperature? Yeah, the true air temperature is quite high. We're never going to pick up icing this way. Nevertheless, we do have a very sophisticated anti-icing system. I don't see that it's functional, but it is there. If you want to see how to operate it, you're welcome to check out my videos on the anti-icing systems. Nevertheless, I don't think it's implemented here yet. Now let's see what happens if we go to vertical speed, increasing some of the engine thrust already. The flight director is freaking out a little bit, but we are maintaining about 1,000. Okay. I'm keeping on the descent to 3,000. Okay, why is it 500 now? Airplane, come on. Airplane. Come on, man. Everybody cheer the airplane with me to do what it's supposed to. When we get to, let's get a little bit closer to Cran here. Excuse me, to Klein. And see what it looks like. Like when we get a little bit closer, I'll set up for like a nice base leg, and then I'm planning to get it back to pink again, so back to LNAV and VNAV, and watch what it does, how it does with the initial stages of the approach, and then switch, and then between the last fix before, so Rip It is a final approach fix. Well, not accurate, but I'm not gonna get into why it's not accurate. But Rip It, by Rip It, I want to be in green, loc and glide slope. So between loner and Rip It, I'm going to switch between magenta and green. So that's what I'm going to do. Still have about 38 miles to go. There's absolutely no reason to slow down from 250. It is descending, it is maintaining 5 to 600 to 700 to 800. I don't know what it's doing. I did ask it to do 1,000 and it's not doing it. It's kind of sort of doing it. Like it's flyable in the sense that it's roughly doing what I want, but it's not flying nicely. You can see that the flight director is freaking out. And it's, as I said on takeoff, I flew it largely manually, and it was very, very too responsive. It doesn't really act like an airplane. Like this is a very agile airplane. That's true compared to other airliners. Nevertheless, it's not that agile like it looked. You know what? Normally I would not climb again. I just want to really test it out. So I'm going back to 4,000. Why does it go out of alt mode? I do not know, but let's nevertheless climb up to 4,000. Free for 4,000. Let's hear the ding. No ding. Okay. Basically what I want to do, so Klein altitude is 4,000. I want to set 4,000 in advance and just watch the FMS make that descent for us. That's what I'm doing essentially. So let's it's almost kind of a left base here. Let's do this, go direct to Klein, activate that, navigate, and go to VNAV. Now I do want to set the missed approach, excuse me, not the missed approach, the final approach fix 1700. Would it let me? Dare I ask? No, it would not. I don't know why. Oh, that's why. I need to be like on the smaller scale here. Okay, that's kind of neat actually. I'll go with that. It's kind of cool to be able to set it up. It's intercepting, which is not realistic completely because the FMS would account for the turn radii while you are activating the point. Like it would sense already that you're banking, so it would adjust the magenta turn, especially on load 27. It's doing it much better. Nevertheless, this is what I want to see. I want to see that we are in LNAV and pink, as in VNAV, maintaining 4,000 for now because that's the limit at Klein. After that, we have Loner 3 and Rip It 1700. And so we expect it to start descending towards Rip It. And as I said earlier, between Loner and Rip It, I would hit approach, and I would want to see it automatically switch from based on the preview. Speaking of preview, I have the loc set to course 272, but I don't have the DME identifier for some reason. IDGU. So they're correct here, I just don't see it in the DME identifier for some reason. but I'll take it. As you can see, guys, I'm very lenient with my criticism. I just want to see a good flyable airplane where I can implement my own company's procedures. That's all I want. I don't want to tear it apart. It's not my intention here. I just want a good, workable airplane. Okay, how are we doing now? So let's assume we got cleared for the approach. That's when I'm gonna hit the nose light on, like so. And I got 21 miles to go. Is this correct? 21, let's see, Klein. Klein is 15 miles. So let's say by Klein we want to be at least 210 and flaps 1. That's a good, so we're 8 miles to Cran. We would normally see a decimal digit as well, not just the actual nautical mile, but like 8.2, 8.1, etc. But yeah, it's gonna turn the corner here, which is realistic, so I'm going to start slowing down already. To 210, that's a very common speed to decelerate to, excuse me. Did I say descend? I meant decelerate. We can see that the flight path is active. The VNAV path, I should say, is alive. And here comes the turn. I'm not gonna even bother with the heading bug. I'm just gonna wait until we turn, and then I'm gonna sink it by pressing here. Flaps 1. Yeah, no green dot, no nothing, it seems. So I'm just gonna go with that. Flaps 1 was set very fast. It takes like 22, 23 seconds to even set it, and we're slowing down way too fast. We'll set 180, sync the heading bug, set it actually to the runway heading, and we should be descending. It did not descend for some reason. Okay, I forced it basically. I turned it off and back on. Let's see what it's doing. Flaps 2, speed 170, another very common speed to get. Looks like the airplane is really trying to catch up with the glide path that it, by its own calculation. But again, it's not really tracking the flight director, and it's kind of sort of lazily getting back on track here. Let's help it. We need, looks like the airplane needs a little bit more drag. Yeah, let's
Sync
do
rate.
gear
Sync
down.
rate.
Something doesn't act here. Let's assume we get cleared to land here. And we're past loaner. Let's hit approach. And basically, based on, so IDGU now, we can see that we're localizer. So it should have switched automatically to green right now because we're on the localizer. But it doesn't want to do that, I guess. So let's do it ourselves. Loc. So it stayed on path. That's not realistic. When we switch to green, the whole thing switches to green. So we got the glide slope. That's nice. But if we don't have the glide slope right away, it would switch to green FPA. It would not stay on magenta path. Airplane, pretty please maintain the speed, maintain the glide slope. That would be very kind of you. Thank you. We're established on the glide slope, so we can set missed approach altitude, which is 3,000. 3,000 set. Whenever I get the gear down, I also chime the flight attendants. Twice. Here's a runway. Surprising. It is in Cat 2 mode. Oh, you're right. Approach 2. It should not be approach 2 because we have barrow minimums. So also it's way too early to have any kind of approach. We would probably have like an approach 1 armed at this stage and at 1500 active. So nothing should be active right now, especially not approach 2. Thanks, Flyby Tim. 1700 rip it, that's okay. Slightly above glide slope. So it's not the most accurate, but nevertheless, let's get flaps 3. Gears already down. No green dot at all. I do see the speed bugs, so that's nice. Flaps 5. Speed V approach landing checklist. Let's see if I can get the landing checklist here real quick. That's a descent, approach. Yeah, we don't do those. Before landing, landing gear down, 3 green, flaps 5 set, landing checklist complete. Yeah, I know, I'm being a little bit too preemptive here, but let's land this sucker. Okay, it's a little bit gusty, so I'm expecting a little bit of work here. 1000 was configured. Speed is a little low. I'm gonna disconnect the autopilot.
Throttle.
Why would the throttle disconnect? I have no idea. And look how energetic it is, guys. I'm barely doing any movements here. Looks like we're a little bit high, which is weird because my perspective is a little bit weird here as well. Normally in this deviation we would have to go around, but yeah, something's off here about the behavior. But I think I can get it nice and trimmed here.
Approaching minimums.
It's definitely gusty, I can feel it a little bit.
Minimums. Minimums.
Landing. Getting back on glide, which is, again, it's weird. Maybe it's just my perspective here that's off because it's a simulator. But it doesn't... like, this looks right to me. Okay, now we're on glide.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Oh, shut it.
Glide
40,
slope. Glide
30,
slope.
20. 10.
Okay. To reverse. $80 knots. Auto brakes. Would it ever disconnect? No, it would not. I pressed the brakes. It should have been yelling at me, auto brakes, and disconnect. It did not. So auto brakes off, 60 knots. Reversers are stowed. Yeah, Tim, it's very, very twitchy. Sorry. That was me. That was all me. I was looking at the other screen. And my feet were looking with me. Okay, we're clearing the runway here. But you're right, Tim, it's very twitchy. It's not, like, it's way too responsive. I don't think it's the right word, but it doesn't really act like an airplane. At least, like, not this airplane. Like I said, it's an agile airplane. It's not that agile. Okay, we're clear off the runway. These should not have been... yeah, it should have been cleared here, but the auto throttle should have been still on and beeping at us. Let's get rid of the flight directors. Clear left, clear right. We're not touching anything because we still have a runway to cross. 4 left, we're clear to cross. We are on Kilo. We gotta switch to Echo. Use Bravo. So Kilo, Bravo, Echo to the ramp. Clear left, clear to cross. Clear right, clear to cross. I would probably just, after we get here, we'll see. Oh. Weird. Okay. That's interesting. Was it on the whole time? I don't remember seeing it then. I have to rewatch that. Like, this is my speed brakes in the off. Anyway, I'm not gonna deal with the spoilers, basically. I'm not going to dive too much into it. I do want to see back my brake temperatures, because as you remember, now we're especially light, so the airplane, at least in real life, the brakes would be hot, and it would want to keep running away from me. So right after landing, I want to start a timer, and 2 minutes later, to shut up, to turn off one of the engines, mostly engine 2. Okay, flaps can go up. In real life, it would already yell at us that we're not in a takeoff configuration because it's preparing itself logically for the next segment. And the flaps got up way too fast. Let's get the lights here a little bit so nobody's angry with me blinding them. And let's pretend it's been 2 minutes. Honestly, in real life, I would, I know the real environment. Oh, it turned on this chronometer as well. Interesting. In real life, I'm way more on it. Wait, why did the altitude change to 1000? It should not have. I don't know. I'll finish my sentence finally. Let's pretend that 2 minutes have passed. So we're going to switch back to a single engine taxi. Right now we're 2 engines. We're going to switch to a single engine taxi. All we got to do is electric pumps for 1 and 2 on, and shut down engine number 2. Stop, or stop engine 2, depending who you ask and what mood are they. So here we are, single engine taxi. This should have been saying off, engine off. Or here, sorry, 1 and 1. Let's get the trim back to 4.0. We're going to taxi as briefed to whatever we can that's closest to Alpha 5. After landing, checklist complete. Also, we would... Okay, I definitely did not turn TARA to standby, because part of the flow would be to turn back from TARA to TA only. I did neither, and it's already back to standby. A little bit proactive for my taste. Okay, it is taxiing pretty nicely on a single engine, as we've established already. Getting close to the gate here, so we can turn off the nose lights, and the FO would turn the APU on again. We got indications, and there we go. I'm gonna go to this gate. I think it's not 5, but like Alpha 6 or so. Maybe 5, I don't know. Yeah, it is Alpha 6, okay. Yeah, because this guy took our parking. It took our jobs! Sorry. Getting into the gate here. We're single engine, we're getting into the gate. That's pretty nice. It's nicely maneuverable on a single engine. Maybe slightly too much power, but I can't complain too much. Let's see it from the gate agent waiting for us point of view. And let's see. Bum, 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 bum. We're getting close. We'll slow down here. Yeah, that was a little bit twitchy, as Tim put it before. But yeah, let's call it here. Parking brake set. Allegedly, I guess not. Okay, let's go back to the cockpit. Set the parking brake. Here we go. And do we have the APU on? It seems like we do, but we don't have the APU. Bleed air valve. So yeah, for some reason it's not opening. Oh, maybe it's because nope. Yeah, maybe because we still have the engine 1, but I do care about the electrical. We do have the APU, which means we can turn off the engines. We do have 2 minutes. We get the APU. Engines off. sterile fasten belts off, beacon off, and turn the pumps as so. I also tend to wait with a beacon until we're below 20% N2. And at this point we would do the parking checklist, which let's do here. After landing, okay, that's done. Shutdown checklist. Thrust levers idle, emergency, our parking brakes on, electric on GPU or APU. We are on the APU. Engine 1 and 2 stop. Hydraulic 3A off. External lights red beacon off. Sterile switch and seatbelt sign off. So it's almost like the flow we did, just a reverse one. And we made it. Steer off. You can notice this. The reason for that is probably the ground personnel have switched to the external switch to on. Can you do the passenger announcement, Michael? Sure. I'll do a passenger announcement in a second. Tim, well, at least now Explain 12 has an early access E-Jet. I guess so. You know what? It's much better than the Flight Sim Studio. Like, we can see it is flyable totally. We can comply with any instruction on VATSIM, for example, or by real life. I could get it to do whatever I want. It was just quirky, I would say, and takes a little bit more attention. Oh, what are we doing? The gate agent is not doing their part, huh? Is it coming? It's coming through this airplane. Sorry, Airbus. Sorry, United. This is the Delta realm here in Boston. So, anyway, before I do the closeout for this stream, let's actually get some things done here. GPU is already connected, so we can hook it up and turn off the APU. Honestly, it would not be yet. Now maybe, because the jet bridge is connected. So APU is off. And I'm not going to secure it all the way, but I can show you how do I secure it if both the FO and I are going to grab a bite in the terminal for a second. So forward is open, the cargo is open, and let's get the ground objects and let's talk. Cool. We made it, guys. Music? Yeah, why not? I feel like I've only been listening to myself for a while. One can go crazy. Alrighty. So, we got here. First of all, what did you guys think before I go on? I want to read some of your comments, some of your impressions before I give mine, which would give me 5 seconds to take a sip of my coffee. And let's talk about this add-on. Very fun, thanks a lot. Oh, Michael, sorry, I almost forgot you. Just literally 2 minutes ago I read that you asked for a comment. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. Welcome to Boston. We arrived here about 20 minutes earlier than scheduled at gate Alpha 6. When you go to the common ground transportation levels, you can get your luggage if you have it checked. Once again, thank you very much for flying Delta Connection today, and we'll be happy to see you on our next flights. Have a good one. Okay, but that was not the end of the stream. Fly by Tim. It's a great start, but definitely needs some attention. Important spots like to the PFD, top of descent, TO inits, and overall flight model. I agree. There's definitely some work to be done. Michael. Right back at you, man. Any other comments, guys? Anything that you noticed? I was flying. I was not exactly television. Itai, thank you. I owe you an answer about something you asked before, Itai. Do you have that question from before? do not remember what it was, but I could not understand what you were asking. But I appreciate the feedback. So yeah, I was flying. I was busy making it happen. I was not busy finding flaws. I'm not a beta tester, nor do I want to be. As in, if a certain developer needs to have their product tested for certain functions and see that they're working properly, that's not me. I'm an average simmer trying to do my thing and fly this thing, possibly on VATSIM, or possibly moving from one airplane in real life to fly the E-Jets, the 175, doing a type rating. So I want to see if I can get some practice going in my home sim before getting a chance to go to the open eyes of the instructors at the training facility. So, yes, I want to agree with what Tim said. It's a very good start. There's a lot of things that are working, and to be honest, I will answer. It's this study level? I will say. First of all, I don't like this term because no sim is perfect in the home flight sim. Even PMDG, which are fantastic, but they can get very, very, very good. Is this very, very, very good with a lot of system depth? No. Can I use this to train real-life procedures? I would say yes. Yes, I can use this to get better at my job, or to check out certain features, or to just get used to finding the right information that I'm looking for at certain times to configure the airplane, to run my flows, to run my checklists. Can I do this? Yes, absolutely. This is operational, I would call it. So good job, Xcraft. That's a nice launch of a product. Is it perfect? No. Do I like it? Yes. Do I feel like it would help me in real life? Yes, absolutely. Is there some work to be done? Absolutely, no doubt at all. But yeah, it's definitely a very good start. Would I enjoy flying it on VATSIM? Well, if it wasn't my day job in my everyday life, yes, I think I would. It's a pretty good add-on, and I could use it in the most busy events on VATSIM, especially when you get a little bit more used to the interfaces. So yeah, in summary, good job, Xcraft. Keep working. I hope you do. I hope you make it the best add-on that ever existed, because these E-Jets are seriously misrepresented, and it would be very nice to see you guys get it up to the study level. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you being here in the first place. Everyone that's here is supporting me one way or another, so I do appreciate that. As I said, I'm not depending on YouTube to pay my bills at all. Keep your day job, so to speak. But it's nice to see the appreciation for the efforts I'm doing for the community. As I said, I learned to fly in the sim before I learned in real life, so it's nice to give back to the community. Thanks for the input, whoever asked questions or raised opinions and hints and stuff during the stream, during the flight. And yeah, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you stick around and you want to see a very different, very, very boring stream, you're welcome to stick around. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna take a little break and going to set up for a long-haul flight, continuing my Pan-American round-the-world trip in 1954 in the PMDG DC-6 Microsoft Flight Sim. We're flying today from where are we? Karachi, Pakistan to Burma. So if you want to join me for that, feel free. It's not going to be as entertaining in terms of me talking. It's just good views, good procedures, some IFR classic flying with basic instruments. But that's what I'm up for now. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm going to shut up now. Have a very happy weekend and fly safe. I need to find myself a catchphrase to end streams with. But, see you guys. Thanks.